Welcome to the next session on SAP UI5. In the last session in UI5, we talked about basics of binding. We also discussed about binding mode, one-way binding, two-way binding, and one-time binding. In today's session, we will go ahead and discuss about binding types. What are all the different binding types we have, and how can we use these binding types to be able to create an application which fits to all our needs. So let's get started. We go back to the application which we were creating by far. So I go to my first UI5 application. So let's just go and find out my UI5 project. I'm going to run this project into another session. I just cut and paste this URL into another browser session. So by far we have created a very simple application with the employee name, employee number, salary, and currency, which is picking up the data from the model. So if you all remember, just a quick recall, we have created the binding with the value property of the input field. You can see this is the binding which we have done with the value property of the input field. This is all what we have been done, right? And now what is happening here is this value is going to automatically coming as part of UI. You can see it's displayed on the UI already. Now, what do you think, guys? What is value here for an input field? Anyone? What do you think is the value for an input field? Anyone? What do you think? It's value for an input field. Perfect answer. All of you are correct. Value is nothing but it's an property. In the last example, we have connected the value property of the input field with the binding path to get the values automatically. And this is called property binding. So what is property binding? Anyone? What is property binding? What do you think is the property binding? What exactly is happening in the property binding? Property binding is a binding. It's a data binding in which the property of control is binded to the path of model. Is that clear, guys? What is property binding? A binding in which the path is binded to the property of a control, like in this case value. Value is the property to which we are binded. This is first type of binding types. Okay, this is first type of binding type. It's called property binding. Are you all clear, guys? Suppose I will also show you an example. That is a property called enabled property. This is also a property. This property controls the behavior of input field, whether the input field will be enabled or grayed out. Many times you see read only input fields, right? So I make this as false. What do you think will happen for employee number now? What do you think will happen for employee number now? Employee number field will become grayed out, or it becomes read only. Whatever you name, whatever you comfortable, you name it like that, but ultimately it's making the field grayed out. It's making the field read only. User can't enter the data. You see, this is editable, this is editable, this is editable, but this field has become grayed out. What is this binding, or in this case what is this enabled? What do you think is enabled is? It's also a property. You can also bind enabled with something called a property. You can do property binding also with this. So let's go back to mock data. I'm going to add a property here, and I'm going to add as, let's say, a property called Shivang, and make this property value as false. Okay. So I've added a property called Shivang, and I made this property value as false. And I go back to the view, and we will bind this with Shivang. Who will tell me what is the address of Shivang? Anyone? What is the address of Shivang as per the rules of the game which I taught you? What is the address of Shivang? Anyone? What is the address of Shivang? Slash empstr slash Shivang. Perfect answer. But many of you are going wrong. You watch out here. S is capital. S is capital. Many of you are going wrong in the case sensitivity. S is capital in employee str. Be careful, this is going to hurt you big time. Coming back, let's do the binding here. Curly braces for indicating the binding. Slash mpstr slash Shiva. Am I clear, everyone? Are you all clear? What's going on? Am I clear, everyone? Are you guys clear? What's going on? Yeah. So this is what type of binding it is. What do you think is this binding? Which type of binding it is? What do you think? It's a property binding because enabled is also a property of input field. Cool. This is also property binding. If I come back and refresh, you would see employee number is still grayed out because Shivang value is false. Let's do this for all. Let's copy that and just enable false, or enable this for everyone, and now all the fields will become grayed out. Clear, everyone? All the fields are grayed out because we have binded with Shivang, and the value in the Shivang is all false. The ultimately false going inside the field, and that's how the value is becoming grayed out. All right, now I want a button. On click of the button, I want to make this field enable at runtime. Okay, so I want a button on the UI. Let's put a button. Just come down, just add a button over here below the input fields, and then now text this up. It's say magic. On press, I want to say on magic, and I will say on that's all I want. And let's say on magic, I'm going to write the coda inside the controller. Let's put comma magic function, and I'm going to write some piece of code inside here. Okay, so what do we want? What exactly is the requirement here? The requirement is, guys, very simple. If we click on magic button, what should happen? What should happen if I click on magic button? It should make my input fields editable. Is that clear, everybody? It should make my fields input editable. I should be able to edit the data after that, right? Very fair requirement. Many times you might have seen this kind of requirement. So that's the requirement. If I click on this, it should make this field editable. Now, guys, what do you think? What is making the input fields disabled? It's this Shivang property. Why do you think this Shivang property exists? Where do you think this Shivang property exists? This is controlling your enabled property now, right? It exists in the model. Anyone who will tell me how to get a model property value? Last class I have told you how to get the model property. Prithvi is saying get model. Get model will not get the value. It will get you the model object. Santosh has got it right. It's get property API. Perfect answer. So first get the model. Of course you got to get the model object. SAP UI get core dot get model. You first have to get the model object. That's very important. In the next step, what you do is after you got the model object, you have to say var, and I'll say property value, whatever property value got. And maybe I want to change the property value. So I say o model dot set property because I want to change the property value. What is the path? empstr slash Shiva, comma, I'll make it as true. Are you guys clear? I am changing the value of Shivang in the model at runtime on click with the true value. Ultimately, this value turns true. What will happen? What will happen the moment this value turns true? What do you think, guys, will happen? Automatically, my input fields will also become the property. Since it's a two-way binding, the direction, the moment you change the data in the model, it will reflect on the view also. So the value changes here in the model. As a result of that, that goes to the enabled property, and enabled property becomes true. As a result, your input fields will magically become editable. Watch out. Let's come back, refresh the page. Watch out. Initially, are you guys clear? These input fields are grayed out. What do I do to make these input fields appear, or make them editable now? Anyone? What do I do to make this input field editable now? Click on magic button, and there you go. Magic happens here, guys. Magic happens. You can do editing now. You can do changes to the values easily. Yeah, you can again click on, now I want, again click on magic, it should become grayed out. Okay, again click on magic, it should become grayed out. That's an exercise for you. Okay, you have to do an exercise now. Exercise, that's an exercise for you. In the field grayed out exercise, in the field gray out form, when we click on magic button, next time the input fields should grayed out again. Okay, so basically it should work like toggle. One time you click, it becomes enabled. Another time you click, it becomes grayed out. Are you guys clear? What is the exercise? Every click it should toggle. Toggle means change, interchange. If it is grayed out, it should become enabled. If it is enabled, it should become grayed out. I will not tell you any hint on this. You have to explore. Okay, you have to explore how. Think simple. Think simple, you will find the answer easily. Okay, think simple. Okay, think simple. I will not tell you the answer, you have to do it. That's an exercise actually. All right, let's come back. Now let's also talk about another important question which you guys have asked me. Anubhav, what about, can we have multiple models? Is it possible to have multiple models in your application? Right? This was one question you guys have asked me. Is it possible to have multiple models of same type or different type in our app? How will the app recognize them? Right, guys? How will your application recognize these models if you have multiple models? Suppose I create another file. Okay, so I have a sample JSON file. I'm going to create another file. I just copy that file, sample JSON. I'm going to create another file. So let me right click, say new file, and I'll say second file, and I pasted the second file, same content. Yeah, and let's change this employee structure, make it value 0001. Employee name is Jessica, and salary is 79,999,999,999 US dollars, and Shivong value is true. Okay, so this is my employee structure. Are you guys clear? My employee structure, I've got a different value in employee structure in a second JSON file. Let me rename this file to .json type, of course, very important. Oops, sorry, .json. So that's a JSON file, second JSON file. Are you guys clear? What I've done, I just made a copy of this file, make another file, right? Is that clear, everyone? Yes or no? Don't ask me further on if I go on, and if it is not clear, please say no here itself. All right. So now this is made, I made a copy of this file, And this file, the second file, I'm going to create another model altogether. So let's do that. I go back to the init, and here I'm going to instantiate another model. So let's create another model. And guys, you see now this whole piece of code is going to repeat, right? To create another model, this whole piece of code will repeat, correct? This whole piece of code is going to repeat to create the model. So do you like to write repetitive code where you create a model object first, set the data, and then set the model object to the app, right? Not necessary. What do? You got to modularize. So the first question then comes is, how can we modularize the model creation code? How can we do that? So let's go ahead and see how can we modularize the code. So we'll come back to the models, right click here and create a new file. I'm going to name it as models.js file. Yeah, guys, any JavaScript file in UI5, what does it starts with? What does it starts with any JavaScript file in SAP UI5? Your scaffolding template. Why have you forgot? Scaffolding template sap.ui.define. This is what every JavaScript file starts with, not just the controller. Controller is just another JavaScript file. Any JavaScript file starts with this. Yeah. So I've started with this one, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to write inside this the definition, the dependencies, and also so put brackets and a function over here, and now curly braces. Is that clear, everybody? And now it's going to return something. Return what? It's going to return couple of functions. So curly braces, and inside this we're going to write functions of our choice. So first function I'm going to say get model object or create JSON model. Whatever name you like, you can just put it. I'm just putting create JSON model. You can put Spider-Man also, it's your choice. Function name, it's a function, curly braces. Yeah, so this is reusable, completely reusable. Are you guys clear? A model.js, is this clear till here? Any JavaScript file starts with scaffolding template. We have put a scaffolding template. This is a JS file. We put a scaffolding template dependency and a function. It returns something called a function called create JSON model. Is this clear, guys? Is scaffolding template and creating a function inside, this is something nothing new. You already know that scaffolding template. Now what we're going to do inside here, we are going to create the model object. So var o model equals to new sap.ui.model .json model. Is that clear, everybody? That's what we're doing. And then we are going to say o model dot load data, and please load the data from the address where we want. And this is something I want to create it as a parameter. I will just to put it as path. Okay, I will say I will receive this path in my function as a parameter, and this is the path I'm going to pass in here to create the model object, and then back return this model object back again. So whomsoever is calling me, I will return this model object which I've created over here. Are these three lines of code clear to everybody? What are we doing? We are creating a brand new model object and setting the data, loading the data inside that and returning it back. That's the beauty. That's reusable. That's completely reusable. Yes, you can reuse. Yes. Now let's come back to main controller. What will be the address of your model.js, your custom JS module? What will be the address? Let's start. What will be the address? Who will tell me what will be the address of your custom JS module? Who will tell me here? What will be the address of your custom JS module? What's your namespace? You remember the namespace which I've given when I started this new project? This is your namespace, oft.fin.ar. That's your namespace. That's the representation of web app directory. Inside that you have models folder. Inside that you have models.js. So let's put that as a dependency on top. And always whenever you put dot will be replaced with the slash, because that's your module name, right? So oft slash fin slash account receivables, that's your namespace. Then models is the folder, slash, the file name is also luckily models only, and you don't have to put extra. JS system will assume whatever modules you're putting, they're always considered as JS. Okay, they are always and always considered as JS modules. You don't have to explicitly put JS here. So system is gonna put this, system is gonna instantiate this model object for us, and it's gonna give you this model, this one, or I will call it as oh my models. This is my reusable model module. Are you guys clear how to make reusability? It's gonna simplify your life big time. Are you guys clear how to make it reusable, how to make your life simplified at a big time by creating a reusable JavaScript module? Are you guys clear with reusable JavaScript module? Are you clear with reusable JavaScript module? Are you clear with reusable JavaScript module? Are you clear with reusable JavaScript module? Let's move on. So now just come down. That's your object ready to use. I'm going to come down, and now I'll say all this code I don't need. Say bye bye. Bye bye to all this code. Just say bye bye. Done. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye. Done. Bye bye. Bye bye. Don't want you. Don't want you. And I just want O model dot create JSON model, and I just pass the address to create the model in here. Is that clear to everybody? Am I clear, guys? Is that clear to everybody? Creating a model object from a reusable module, and of course you have to set the model object to the app layer. That's important, that you have to do it here itself. So now you see this is completely reusable. You want to create 2000 models, you just call this method with passing different addresses. If you remember, we had put a path here. We are passing a parameter. We are telling where is the data is kept, and system is automatically going to use that address to create the model object for you. Okay, so that's what it's being done. And now this model is set at the app level. Now create another model. So I say var. So do you think, guys, I need to put again, say new JSON model, and then say load data? Do you think we need to do that? Do you think? No, what do we do? Reuse this method, reuse this model method, guys. Actually, knowingly unknowingly, you have unlocked the secrets of MVC architecture. Ye dekho idhar left side mein, if you see, observe it, knowingly unknowingly you made proper MVC. This was one question somebody was asking in previous classes. Today was the time your question is answered. Model, व्यू एंड कंट्रोलर, तीनों चीजें अलग हो गया आपका. MVC, this is called proper MVC, model, view and controller. This was one question somebody was asking me in previous 3 classes back, saying, Anubhav, where is our model? Do you guys clear where is our model now? This is our model. Model data and model itself is part of this models package. When the time comes, your questions will be answered, guys. Don't panic. Don't panic that, oh my god, today Anubhav did not answer my question. Don't panic. If I answer your question today, it may confuse you. That's why I did not answer your question that day, because I was waiting for the right time to come. When the right time comes, you will understand things better. I understand your curiosity, but please try to understand. If I try to answer everything in one day, it will be difficult for you to understand it. Okay, all right, that becomes your proper MVC. Now let's reuse this method once again. Oh my model. Is it models or models? It's models. Oh my models dot create JSON model once again, and I'm going to pass the address of the another file which we just created, second file, slash second file. Be careful, it's the file name, F is capital in second file, so don't put the wrong path. You see, F is capital, F is capital. If you do this mistake, of course it will naturally won't work. Case sensitive, be careful with cases, guys. You're working with JavaScript. Now this model is created. I'm going to name it as O model of 1. Now my question to all of you, I will set this model object at the app level also. What will happen now when I run my app? What data do you think you will see on the UI? Will you see the data from Spider-Man, or will you see the data from Jessica? What do you think? What data will you see on the UI? What do you think? What data? How many of you with Jessica? Everyone is saying Jessica. Why, guys? Why are you saying Jessica? Why not Spider-Man? What happened? What do you think is going on here? What is the reason you're saying Jessica will come up? Because it's very simple. It's very simple. Yes, it's going to overwrite. It just imagine you have a variable x. You have a variable x equals to 10. And if I say x equal to 20 and I print x here, what is the value you will get in x? Of course you will get 20, because you have overwritten the value of 10 with 20 or next statement. That's exactly happening here. So you have overwritten the model object, which was the default model object at the app level, with new model 1. As a result of that, on the UI, on the refresh, you will see the value as Jessica. It's not coming. Kya ho gaya? What is the reason why it is not coming? Have I done a mistake in the path? No, binding is proper. If you see the property names, we have empstr, emp number, these are all same. Properties are all same. You see here the properties are all same. There is absolutely no problem with the property, guys. This is not a problem with property. Okay, it's not a problem with property. It's not a problem with binding. There is something might be wrong, which is creating this issue. Let me just explore it out. So, oh, my models, I think I've not retested after doing modularization, could be an issue. Let me make it maximize, press F12 and see if there is any issue somewhere, something is blasted. Let's come, and you see there is some problem in our JSON. You see it's giving a parser error in the JSON of Jessica. You see, console is my best friend. Nobody else is my best friend. Console is my best friend. There is some parsing error. I have committed a mistake somewhere in the JSON. Okay, the JSON which we are creating, I have done a mistake. Who will help you for the JSON mistakes? Who will help you with the JSON mistakes? JSONlint.com. Bulalo se. Bulalo your another friend who is there with you to help you up. Right, like when you watch Kaun Banega Karodpati, what do? There is a lifeline. There is a lifeline in Kaun Banega Karodpati. Phone a friend, right? Phone a friend. You will do a phone a friend to call your friend and ask the answer of that question. Exactly, this is your phone a friend. This is an external help you are calling up. Let's bring it on. Bring it on. Let's go to the file, copy the complete file, bring it on here. Let's do a validate. And here dekho, you see there is a parser error at line number 3. There's a parser error at line number 3. System is telling you what's going wrong. There's something wrong. You see employee number, employee name Jessica, something is wrong. There's a parser error at line number 3. Actually this one is the error, double quote 0001. And let's check. Voila, that's a valid JSON. If you are putting ever number preceded with 0, it's treated as a string, guys. That's the reason it's not working. And now I'm going to copy that back to my application and paste
Anu,
it again. Yes, please go ahead.
sorry to disturb you. Like in the index of the EMP number, there are no any inverted double quotes here. EMP number second tab, EMP tab. So why it is not throwing error here?
Here it is there,
EMP
no
num.
double quote is there. What is the problem?
No, no, no. EMP num 1000. EMP
Okay,
tab.
there in the another case. Okay, here in this case 1000, the here the numeric 1 is preceded with before numbers, right? But here these initial zeros are not treated like number.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
If you just keep it 1, it will work. See, 0001 is ABAP understand. In ABAP, this is understood because it's called numc, number character combination in ABAP. Numc, we call it as numc in ABAP. Here, JSON doesn't understand that. So you can't put preceding 0. If you're putting preceding 0, put it as a string. That's JSON
Oh,
format. Either keep it 1, it will work. See, if I just keep 1, it is working. See, but if you put preceding zeros, it has to be a string. Okay, preceding zeros, this is why it is a string. This is the reason why we have to put it. If you just keep it 1, no problem, no need to do that. It's a number then. You see, like this, it's like that, it's going to work. But if you want exactly preceding zeros, you need it. All right, let's come back. And now since the JSON is proper, let's come back and refresh. And boom, there you go. You can see the value 0001 Jessica 79999 USD. That's your value from second model. The reason is the first model was overwritten with the second model. It was overwritten. Okay, overwrite कर दिया गया है first model को. It was overwritten with second one. That's what has happened. The first model was overwritten with the second model. That's exactly which has happened here. Okay, that's what has happened. First model was overwritten by second model. Clear, everyone? So now I'm just going to come back, and let's go back here. First model was overwritten with second model, and we can see the values coming up. But guys, our requirement was not that. In real time, we want both the models to survive together, right? So anyone, if there are two twin brothers having same date of birth, same father name, same address, same mother name, same surname, how do you differentiate them in a company? How do you differentiate these twin brothers with the same name, same face, same height, everything is same? Of course, via employee ID. We need a unique identification, isn't it? We need a unique identification to find out the unique identity. Similarly, the introducing the concept of named model. When you're putting a model, you have to differentiate. Hence, you have to give a name to the model. How do you do that? Put a comma in second argument in this setting of a model. You have to put here the name of the model, and I'm naming this model as Mario. It's up to you to put the name. It's your choice. I am putting this name as Mario. Are you guys clear? Are you guys clear what is named model? To differentiate two models between each other, you have to give name to the model. Now, what is the name of the first model? What do you think is the name of first model? What is the name of first model which I'm setting? It's blank. It's like this. Are you clear? It's like this. It's blank. Whether write it or don't write it, it's blank. That's why this is called default model. So a model which is set without name, model which is set without name is called what? Default model. Which means by default, this is the model which is going to supply the data to the entire application. Okay, this is the model which is going to supply. So now when I save and run this, so this is a named model. Now the second example, this is a named model which is now an another model at app level with different name. Clear, everyone? This is another model at app level with a different name. Now both survive together, right? Are they going to overwrite each other? Now, anyone? Do you think they are going to overwrite each other? No, they are both going to survive together. They are not going to touch each other. They're going to survive separately. That's what is called the named model concept in SAP UI5. Now let's come back. Now, guys, tell me, will your view know automatically whether it has to pick data from first model or second model? Will your view know automatically? There is nothing like magic, guys. So what system does, system will not know. You have to tell explicitly which model you want to draw the data from, right? But now first, before we move on, can you tell me, when I refresh the app now, what data do you see in employee name, Jessica or Spider-Man? What data you will see in the UI now, Jessica or Spider-Man? Default ले लेगा अपने आप. Default model, because that's the model which is the default model. Let's come back, refresh. You will see first of all it's going to pick up the default model, which is Spider-Man now. Is that clear, everyone? At least the first part is clear. Why? Where the default model is being used is always used actually. By default, system is going to call the default model. Now, guys, if I want to draw the data from the named model, what should I do? How to recognize this named model? Anyone? What do you think is the unique recognition here for this model? What do you think is the name of the model? What is the name of the model here? Mario. So whenever you want to refer to the named model, so let's come back. Answering to this question, how to modularize the code? I said using scaffolding module. You have to recognize. The second answer of this is yes, it's possible. We need to create named model at the level of application, view, or control. You can have multiple models. And when we do binding with the named model, we should use binding syntax with the model name as below. So you will be using curly braces, Mario, or whatever is the model name, arrow symbol, and your binding path. Is this syntax clear to everybody? Are you guys clear? Everybody, model name Mario, whatever is Mario or whatever you have, that you have to use arrow symbol to indicate, hey boss, please pick the data from this model. Default se mat lo. Don't take from default, please take it. If you don't mention, what will happen? My question to all of you, if you don't mention a Mario name or the name of the model arrow, what will happen? It will go to default model. Very good answer. You all have understood the named model concept. It will go to default model. It will take the data from there. If you mention the name before it, it's gonna go to the named model what you have. Okay, that's what gonna happen. Am I clear, everybody? Are you all clear, everyone? What is happening here? All right, let's go back. And now let's come to the view and आ जाओ Mario डाल दो यहाँ पे. I'm saying Mario, and for employee, maybe I'll just put employee name के लिए Mario. Only for employee name I'm putting Mario, guys. What will happen now? What will happen when I put Mario for employee name? Only the employee name will draw the data from that Mario model. And the rest of other properties is still coming from default model. This is also possible. Combination is also possible. In the name Jessica will come. Rest all the properties will remain as it is. So let's go back. You can see it's 1,000,95500 in euro. For Jessica, it was US dollar 1999 something was there, and it was one, right? So now only Jessica, only name will change. Refresh. Voila! Can you see? Only the name have changed to Jessica. Rest all the properties are as it is. They're not picking up from Mario. What do I do to pick these values from Mario now? Anyone? What do I do to pick these values from Mario? Of course, I have to go and use Mario over here. Clear, everyone? Are you all clear? The named model concept is that clear to everybody? What is named model concept? Is that clear, everyone? What is named model concept? And now, guys, sometimes some people will come, Anubhav, can we switch the model dynamically? I want to have a button here. On click of that button, I want to switch the model dynamically from Spider-Man to Jessica, Jessica to Spider-Man. Dynamically, can you do that? It is possible. It is possible. You can change your default model at runtime. क्या करना है? Let's do the flip model game. So I will come and play a flip model game with you guys. So let's play this game of flip model. I'm gonna say button, and I'm gonna say text. I'll say flip model. I'm gonna say press and say on flip. Okay, and let's come here on flip. Let's go back. I'm just going to use here on flip. and let's say var, and we will be creating a flip model, right? So let's create or get first the model object. Okay, both the model objects I'm getting. So I got the model object default wala, and I've got the model object Mario wala. Okay, both objects I'm getting in a local variable. So just put your model name here in the get model, it gets you the Mario object. All right, so you got both the model objects now, and now you're gonna do a flip game. So sap.ui.getCore dot set model, and I'll say, hey, whatever is my Mario model, please make it as a default model. Hey, whatever is my default model, please change and set it as a Mario model. Are you guys clear with this exercise? What's going on? I am interchanging the models here at runtime on click of a button. Runtime means on click of a button, I am interchanging. So first I got both the variables, and I put my first variable in second and my second variable in first. Are you guys clear? The flip model, we got both the models and we putting the first model in second. We are making default model. ये देखो ये default है. This default I'm setting as a Mario, and this one which is currently the Mario model, I'm setting as a default model at runtime. Am I clear, everybody? Are you clear with the flip model exercise? Are you clear or not? Yes or no? Are you clear? Flip model, what's happening here? Runtime, we are changing the model from one Mario to default, default to Mario. Watch out, watch out. What an amazing stuff. Watch out, watch out. Let's come back, let's come back. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. Flip model, are you ready to experience the flip model? Let's do that. 100, sorry, 1000 Spider-Man, what it will change to? Boom, there you go. It has changed to Jessica. Again, click, again, flipping happens. Areva, Areva, what a flip model. What a flip model. You can see the values are changing. The system is doing its work. We are just sitting and relaxing and enjoying. Just keep the simple things simple. Why are you complicating it? Just keep it so simple. It's just a flipping of two variables. Every time you click, it's flipping, guys. That's a flip model exercise. Okay. Yeah, that's a flip model exercise. You see, it's just flipping. Every time you click, it's flipping. This is not a hint for previous exercise that you have to still figure out. Okay, this is another thing. Flip model. Are you guys clear how the flip model works? Yeah, it's just interchanging default model, named model, default model, named model, default model, named model. Wow. Wow, what an amazing exercise. No book you will find these examples, guys. These are all built by myself to make you understand. It's an open challenge. You will not find these examples in any book, any tutorial online, any video you watch online. You will not find these examples because books cannot teach you what a human can. Books are books, they are dead. Why people are not reading from books these days? Books are written in conventional techniques. They are conventional learning techniques. There is no experience with the books. Books are like no emotions in the book. But when you do live learning, when you do video based learning, when you do interactive video learning, that's when you get that experience of learning. That is more than anything. Okay, all right, so that's about the flip model exercise. So now coming back, let's look at here. Now another interesting thing which I wanted to discuss here. Yes, this was also a question in chat window. You can see here SAPUI get core, SAPUI get core, SAPUI get core, SAPUI get core. Every method you are using SAPUI get core. Don't you think you should think about it? Rather than using SAPI get core, can't you create a global variable which you can reuse again and again, right? Every method you are saying SAPI get core. Is this a good approach to write every method SAPI get core? Is this a good approach? What can you do for reusability of your variable? Can we reuse, create reusable global variable at controller level? Yes, right? Is this question now click in your mind or not? Is this a valid question or not? This was also a question in chat window. Please don't put your questions in private mode. Let others also see them. Okay. Let others also. This was a question which has come to me in the private mode. So now guys, do you think it makes more sense to make it global? Create a create a reusable variable rather than writing it again and again? Very good question indeed. Yeah. Makes sense? Makes sense? All of you agree to it? There is something which is reusable, something which you are writing, repeating again and again. Why can't you make it reusable? Isn't it? The answer is yes, we can do that. Yes, we can do that. It is possible. So we can put variable at controller level using variable name colon variable value comma. This is the syntax which you can use at controller level to create a variable. Okay, variable name colon value comma. This is what you can use to create a global variable. Let's go ahead and see that. I'm going to go back and let me put here. I'm going to name this variable. You can, it doesn't matter. You can put it anywhere. You can put o core. Okay, o core, and you can put here sap.ui.getCode. That's the value I'm assigning, guys. It it is not like abap. Okay, it's different syntax. So you watch out here. O core is a variable colon and then its value. This is a global variable now. Is that clear, everybody? It's a global variable at controller level. This is a global variable at controller level. How can you access a controller property or controller thing? What is the object of controller within the controller? What represents the object of controller within the controller? This pointer, perfect answer, Divya has got it right. It's this pointer which I also taught you earlier. This pointer represents the current controller object. So now let's come back and change here to this dot o core. मजा आया कि नहीं आया? मजा आयो छे? Is it good or not? Guys, did you understand this concept or not? Global variable. Rather than using things again and again, you can reuse it. You can create a reusable variable and keep it everywhere. This dot occur. The beauty of this, you can say this dot control space, it gives you code completion also. You see, oh, my model is also a global variable which is kept on the top in the scaffolding. Even o core will be the variable which you created, will be visible here in code completion. Control space, you see, o core is available to you. Are you guys clear? P means it's a private member. It's a private member of your controller. Okay. So for view also you can do it. You can do like this. You can create a o view object and you can say this dot get view. That's also fine, no problem. You can also do like this. Clear, everybody? This is also possible. For view also, of course, you can do like this. Completely possible. But recommendation, what is another syntax for doing this? So this global variable which you created, this is one way. Another way to also do that in init function. Suppose I want to create for view, you can come here and say this dot o view equals to this dot get view. So now the o view is a global variable automatically because you are setting this o view at the this level, at controller level. Are you guys clear with this syntax also? Setting a variable, another technique of setting a global variable. This is technique number 2, syntax number 2. Sometimes some people will see some syntax, they will say, "Are Anubhav have taught me like this. Anubhav have taught me like this. How come it is like this? Why are you so stubborn about syntax? Isn't it possible that there are two ways to do same thing? Isn't it possible that there are two ways to do same thing? It is possible. Why are you so stubborn about syntax? You should not be. Just finish it off. Just look at the variants, what are all the other possible options, and just leave it as it is. That's a syntax. You can't do anything about it. You can't change it. That's how SAP UI5 or any programming language works. You need to understand the rules of that programming and make it work, right? Sometimes they will say अनुभव तो ने तो ऐसा सिखाया था, ऐसा ही होगा. Why? It's maybe not. You saw four different syntaxes to do binding. You see, all are property binding only. These are four different syntaxes. You may see anything in your application. My duty is to teach you all the possible ways. It's up to you to decide which one you wish to choose. But important is to, when you go to real time, that time you may see other syntax. Setting global variable. Okay. This is another way of setting global variable at controller level. This was also one question in 3 to 4 class back, and now since I had a use case to demonstrate, I have demonstrated it to you. This was also one question, how can we have a global variable? This question is also answered today. See guys, when the right time comes, right dose of antibiotic goes in your body and it gives you the right results. If I give you the heavy dose of antibiotic today, you will die. You will not come for my next session. And that's what been happening. You might have tried learning UI5 on your own, going to internet, looking at some blogs, looking at some chapters, looking at some books, looking at some video tutorials, but you were unsuccessful. Many of you would have tried it. You were unsuccessful. The reason being no systematic organized learning. You were directly taking some kind of heavy doses. Many times I see people when they are sick, when they are ill, when they are having some problem, they don't visit doctor. Google करते हैं वो लोग. What is the best syrup for cough? If I have a cough, what is the best syrup? Maybe that cough is not just cough. It could be it could be an indication of another disease. It could be malaria. It could be dengue. It could be anything. You are ignoring it. That's okay to go with 1 or 2 day of medication, but more than that, if it is lasting, you should visit doctor immediately. Many people avoid that. This is what happens in UI5 also. Many people avoid this. They just keep learning, keep doing copy paste from the blogs, from the internet, and at the end their result will come, but that will not sustain for long. Systematic learning is important without taking heavy dose of antibiotic. I am your doctor. I know what dose I have to give you at right time so that it goes in your body and really help you to fight with the disease rather than fighting with your own body. Clear, everyone? So that's about creating global variables. So with that, we will end our chapter. We have learned what we have learned. We have learned about creating model, multiple models together, creating the model file, separating the code, modularizing it, named model, how to do the binding with named model. We did a flip exercise and we saw how to create a global variable and we saw what is property binding. In the next upcoming session, we are going to discuss expression binding. That's what we're going to talk about. The next one, we're going to talk about the aggregation binding. And the last one, we're going to talk about element binding. So these are all the three upcoming binding topics which we have planned. So hopefully maybe one session or two session doesn't matter for me, the timing. My aim is to give you the right knowledge with the right flow, with the right time. Okay, that's important rather than whether it's one session, two session. I don't mind extending our classes, one or two extra classes. दे दूंगा तो कुछ नहीं घटेगा मेरा. So that's okay. We will see these three types of binding types in our upcoming classes. Are you guys clear what we have covered? Time for your questions. Any questions from you guys? Please feel free to ask.
Anubhav, we changed model to the Mario, right? The
Right,
default model.
right.
So which means, so the Mario model will become a blank model now. The moment
Mario
we
model
set,
will become the default model, and all the data, if let's say right now we have only the input fields here, if there are other controls also bound to that default model, they will also change. Okay, they will also automatically start drawing the data from the Mario model.
which means, don't we have two Marios now?
No. See, we took first them in a local variable. It's like I'll show you quickly. So you have, let's say, you know, a function module or a class. This class has two variable a and a equal to 10 and b equal to 20. And now you have two local variable x equal to 10. So you had two local variable x equal to 10 and y equal to 20. You are now saying, hey, please set the value inside my class a and b with x and y. Clear, everyone? So what will go in x and what will go in a and b? It's x and y. Is this clear? Is this
Yeah.
first part clear? Now what is happening next to that? I am saying, please get me the value. Get me what's there in class in two variables. I am saying x equal to a. Whatever is there in the class, please get me in the x. Y equal to local variables I am creating x and y. Y equal to b. I've got it. Now what is there in x and what is there in y? 10 and 20. Yeah, that's there in these two variables. So now next what will happen? So after we have got these variables into these local variables, what we are doing next? We are setting these values back onto the class. We are saying now in the class we're calling and we're saying, hey class, can you please set b equals to x and a equals to y? To this class we are saying now. Yeah, what will happen? Will it change your local variable? No, they will not change. Now within the class, what you will have? B equal to 10, B equal to 10 and A equal to 20. That's what we'll have in the class. Correct? Your local variable remains as it is. Next time, so you see, it did not replace the value of A and B. Instead, it has interchanged the value of A and B. Are you clear now? That's what is happening. You have got both the model objects in UI5 here, which is your default model named model. After getting both the model objects, you're setting these models back to the user, back to the model, back to the application layer once again with a different name. You're just interchanging them. You're not overwriting them. Yeah, you've got it into local variables. First the values from the class, from the global variable, global place, and now you're interchanging them. That's all you're doing. Is that answer your question? That it's not overwriting the model Mario, it's interchanging. And this is the reason its interchange is working every time. Next time you click again, Mario becomes original Mario, which was initially Mario becomes original Mario. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Anubhav.
All right,
Okay.
thank you so much. There's another question from Divya. Divya is saying, Anubhav, can we use this .get view .get model? Absolutely, yes, Divya, you can do that. So instead of this .get core .get model, you can also use this .get view .get model. Why? Because the model is set at the application level. All the views also using that model. Okay, this is also possible. It's okay to use like this. Okay, yes, Divya, it is possible.
Anubhav, I have another question actually. So, if my application is having more number of models, like it has to use a lot of data, then do I need to use one model or multiple models is best? Like, which is the best practice actually?
Okay, the best practice is actually using one JSON model, one resource model, and one OData model. So all the data which you need is okay to satisfy with one model, one global OData model, one global JSON model, and one global I18N, which is called in resource model, which we will discuss soon.
Okay.
So one model of each type is sufficient enough to go ahead to utilize for our purpose.
Like in future, if I have to use multiple views, and so is it recommended to use multiple models
It is,
or we use
it
only
is,
single JSON model?
it is recommended. Why? Why? Because you want to share the data between you. Imagine you're building an application. There is screen number one where user enters some personal detail. Okay. On screen number two, you have to load the data of that personal detail along with display also the data which user entered on the first screen. How do you share this data with second view? How do you share the data between views? So what you do, create a global model. This model is applicable at application level. सारा data model में होगा. So first view, whatever data user enter goes in the model because of it's a two-way binding. Second view, you can access this data. because this model is available at the global level. So this is how you actually share the data between the models, between the views actually. So it is recommended
Hi, Anubhav.
practice. Yes, please.
This is Shiva. So we use one controller, best practice, one controller for one view, right? So
Right.
uh, is there any scenario where we have to use one model for one view? Can we set it that way? And is
Yes,
it
you can actually, if you wish to use the data within, if you wish to use the data within a view, in that case, you create a view which is available only at the view level, which I also taught you already in the previous classes, how to set the model only at the view level. So instead of get core, you will use this dot get view.
okay? Thank you.
Now this will set the model only at this view level, because this dot odd view is your current view object. This Mario model now no more be available to other views. It's only and only local to this view now.
Yes, you told. Yes, at
Yeah.
view and at property.
Yes. So
Thank you.
that's one thing. There is also another question here in chat window. Can we hear how did you use models.js? So we just use it as a reusable module in scaffolding. That's our scaffolding. We had put namespace and the address of the model.js file. System automatically created an object of it. That object we are using to call the methods. Yeah, that's how we have used it. Connect these pieces together, guys. This is important. Connect these pieces together. Yeah, so we have used it also like that only for that purpose. So if I just go and reduce the size, you will be able to see it. So you can see now this is the reusable module. It creates an object. This model object is being used here. Scaffolding template, reusability, reuse of modules, guys, within your application, your own modules within the application. All right, cool. Any questions before we close? Cool. All right then, thank you so much. See you tomorrow at the same time. Have a nice day.